the royal
We do nothing
public.
wrong. I mean, we're just perfectly reacting to it. Everyone else is wrong.
Obviously. That's the point of this podcast, is that we are right and people should listen to us. There's your clip, business boys. There's your show promo clip.
Hello and welcome back to HR Confessions. I'm so excited to be back for season 2. I'm Rebecca Taylor.
And I'm Kim Rohrer. We are bringing you unfiltered perspectives from the world of HR. Real stories, wild stories, and good advice.
And I am so excited to be back for season 2 because I don't know about your hiatus, but my hiatus was filled with DMs, messages, stories, so many people sharing their HR confessions that I have so many more stories to go around. And hopefully, along with those stories, more advice, more lessons, more things.
Hopefully. And, during the hiatus, somehow the world continued to fall apart, even in more disastrous ways than they already were. And I think we need little bits of laughter and joy now more than ever. Especially, shout out to our HR people out there who are supporting their employees through multiple crises coming at them from all angles. It's a heavy time to be in HR. And they say that joy is an act of resistance. So hopefully we can provide you with a little bit of a respite from all the crazy shit you're dealing with.
Yeah. It is
as
definitely
HR leaders and as human beings in the world right now.
Yeah, I was going to say it's hard to be in HR, it's hard to be in leadership, hard to be in management just because there's so many things going on all at the same time. And so if we can bring
hard to be a person.
if we bring some kind of centering, joyful element to your day and something that kind of gives you a takeaway that you can use for something in your life or in your work, that's our goal, is just to I don't know, bring human stories, human things, and just try to be good to each other. Is that too much to ask? That's my goal.
I mean, look, somebody's got to be good to each other, right? Might as well be us.
This is true. I will be good to you. You're always good to me. This is a start. It starts one-on-one.
That's change starts at home, Rebecca.
Change does start at home. And this is a version of home in a way.
Yes.
It feels like coming home. It was funny, as we were getting on here, we both kind of forgot how to set up our microphones and how to use the software that we use. So we're just wait, what do we do again? So it really does feel like we're getting back into a groove.
Much time off.
No.
What do people do when they take multi-month hiatuses? I have no idea.
I forget my job after a 3-day weekend. So this is
we just black it all out. Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, are you ready
back
for the first story of season 2?
I can't wait.
Okay.
I can't wait. I'm ready.
So I'm taking you to a time in the semi-recent past.
Okay.
We're just outside a major East Coast city.
Great.
And today's story is about Chloe. The first twist that I have for you is that Chloe is not an HR person.
Ooh. Okay. Ready to get into it.
She's not in HR.
Hey, Chloe.
Chloe's on the leadership team at a higher education institution.
Okay.
She's been at this school for 7 years. And she's considered one of the newer tenured employees after 7 years.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those places, it's higher ed. It's one of those places where people have worked their whole professional careers. No one leaves.
Yep.
So most of these people that she works with have basically grown up together, seen each other get married, start families. The bonds are close.
Yeah.
But not as much for Chloe.
Right.
Chloe likes her space. And since she's still basically a newbie, she's not as close to everyone, but she's okay with that. She's I've got my life. This is it's all good. I like the people that I work with. I'm not trying to be part of the deep rooted connection here.
Sure.
So some details and some context about this school, because it's important. It sort of is the catalyst for the whole thing. Okay. So Chloe works for a nursing school that sits within a hospital system that's affiliated with a college or university or whatever it is that's an hour away.
Okay.
So the college itself is an hour away from them. They work basically out of a hospital and it's a nursing school. So they're dealing with lots of on-the-job stuff in a way.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, there aren't thousands of articles about this or anything, but in case you didn't know what's been happening since COVID, not as many people are looking to become nurses anymore.
What? So weird.
Yeah, I know. And so as a result, enrollment at Chloe's school has been down. And it's actually down at most higher ed schools right now. A lot of colleges and universities are seeing sort of an enrollment dip, but it's especially, concerning for Chloe's school because they're sort of used to a good pipeline of students. And considering it's a field that's basically always hiring and always experiencing a shortage, you'd think that more people would be kind of going about it. But turns out that the job is really hard and not a lot of people really want to do it anymore. So they've got some dips.
Great. I feel
So
bad.
for a couple
I get it. I feel for them because that is a hard problem to solve in terms of headcount and enrollment and funding, all those things. And also, I get it. I get why people aren't lining up in droves anymore to become nurses.
Yeah. It's one of those like, it makes sense due to things, due to life and stuff. But they had, for a couple of years at this school, there was talk of the school breaking away from the college that it's affiliated with to get accredited on its own, like to be its own standalone, degree granting institution. So they went for it. It didn't happen, didn't go through. And now the school's going to shut down at the end of the particular year where our story takes place. It seems like they still wanted to break away from the college. The college wasn't interested in carrying this nursing program. I think that they're sort of having some competing type of program now. So it's just like the school's closing down. Everyone has to go.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Staff, students, teachers. The school that they used to be part of is willing to take people in, but it's over an hour away from this school, which is sometimes 2 hours away from some of these people. Right. So it's a path for some, but not for all.
Yeah. And these are people who have been working there for like 20, 30 years in some cases.
Exactly. They've been working there for 20, 30 years. They only know working there and they only know working with each other, except Chloe.
Right.
So Chloe's like,
Chloe,
okay, obviously this is freaky, but... So our particular story takes place at the staff farewell party.
Oh.
So one night in the spring, the staff gathers at like a small venue for some dinner and dancing. And you know how usually when they do these sort of party things with companies or just with, work groups, it's like usually like a Tuesday or Wednesday night. So everyone knows they have to show up for work the next day.
Yes.
This is the same for this group.
Okay.
And so not only do they have to show up for work, but like they're all about to be out of job. So for all we know, some might even have like interviews the next day. So even though they have to show up for work, it's different since they're not going to be there much longer anyway, students included. So they're kind of like, everyone's a little loosey-goosey, ready to enjoy this time, blow off some steam, close this chapter. So how are you feeling so far about this like mentality going into this party?
I feel like people are going to go nuts.
Well, yeah, because I forgot to mention that this event has an open bar.
Oh, I assumed it did. Yeah. I assumed that this event had an open bar. The circumstances are all perfectly aligned for bad things to happen. Yeah.
It's many sad people processing a lot of things together, experiencing
not gonna like be worried about
trauma.
Yeah, they're not worried about keeping their jobs if something happens at the party. Like, this is like a confluence.
Yep. And like they're basically experiencing this collective trauma because it's the first time they're ever going through this like mass layoff and a huge part of their life is changing. Right. And they're terrified about what's next because they've never been in this situation before. And quite frankly, we don't even know whether or not they're capable to work anywhere else. Because, sometimes like in these places, they only know they're one way and it might not be how other places do it.
Yeah.
So this is their deal. So everyone's a little bit freaked out, but they want to blow off some steam at this farewell party. So the dinner itself goes off relatively normally. Chloe ends up sitting next to a woman that she's pretty friendly with. So we're going to call her Wanda.
Okay.
Wanda's been at the school for almost 30 years. She's basically been in the same job the whole time. She's also best friends with her and Chloe's boss. So Wanda and Chloe report to the same person, and that's the VP of Finance. And they report to the same person, and Wanda has a lot of feelings. So Wanda's like, this is like a whole thing. They also have, the main thing too is that Wanda and their boss are also best friends because they've been together for so long. So there's a lot that she's processing. So Wanda's about 2 cosmos in and halfway through her appetizer when she turns to Chloe and says, can you believe in a couple of months we're just not going to work together anymore? And Chloe goes, yeah, it's kind of wild. And Wanda goes, like, we're just not going to have anything to do with each other anymore. And Chloe's thinking to herself, like, yeah, and? But instead she responds, oh, that's not true. We'll stay in touch. Like, you know how it always is. It's like, we'll stay in touch.
Sign my yearbook.
Yeah. And so Wanda's like, I really didn't see this coming. And Chloe's like, yeah, it sucks, but we knew there was a chance we'd end up here.
Yeah.
She goes, it's just so sad. I just can't stop thinking about it. I need to get another drink, while she waves over the waitress. So Chloe goes, how are you getting home after this? Just casually, asking. And Wanda goes, my husband's picking me up. He said he'd never make me drive myself home after a night like this. I need to be able to relax and have fun. Great. So Wanda doesn't have to go to work. She might not even have to interview. She doesn't have to drive herself home. She is like cruising tonight. And I thought that she was going to be driving herself home. So when Chloe told me that wasn't like the thing, I'm like, okay, at least that's not.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Because that's my first stressor.
Yes.
So dinner moves on. Chloe talks to Wanda and their other table mates about what they're going to do next, how they're feeling, their plans for summer, all the things you think. So all this time there's been a DJ playing music in the background, like while they ate, but it's been at a good background music volume so everyone could chat and socialize.
Sure.
But now, all of a sudden, right before dessert is served, the music starts cranking up. Like we're going into party mode.
Yeah.
And I don't know what song kicks off this part of the night, but I like to think it's Uptown Funk.
Yes.
Like it's just do-do-do, do-do,
And it just like builds louder and louder.
Yes.
So people are like, wait, I can't hear you talk. Should we just dance?
Yep, exactly.
Oh,
And you just gotta
it.
dance it out to express yourself.
Yes.
And I wish that we could get the rights to put like the little Uptown Funk in the background as I tell this part, but like just
That would be great. Just imagine it.
So Wanda goes, it's my song. And she throws back drink number whatever. And she shimmies onto the little dance floor. Her shoes are already gone.
Good for you, Wanda. Good for you.
Yep.
Live it up.
And her shoes are already gone. She's ready to get down and everyone follows her. Because they're all just like, yes, let's go. We can't hear each other anyway.
Right.
So Chloe's not going to sit at the table alone. So she gets out there with the rest of them, obviously.
Of course.
So the main difference between Chloe and the rest of these people is that she's very obviously the only one who has to drive herself home because everyone she's with is totally hammered. And
Yes.
Chloe's just like, oh my God, what do I do?
She did not plan ahead.
No, she did not plan ahead. But I also don't think that she planned on going that hard either.
Sure.
So you know what happens when you start dancing? You start to get sweaty, which makes you thirsty. And sometimes you drink water and other times you don't. Sometimes you're like, oh, here's just a random gin and tonic that's been sitting here that I just want to like throw down. But eventually, no matter what, you realize you need to leave the floor to use the restroom. You're like, oh, it's time. So Wanda and Chloe are do-do-do-do-do. And Wanda goes, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And Chloe goes, I'll go with you. As we do,
Strength in
buddy
numbers.
system.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Wanda puts her drink down on the nearest table and starts striding towards the restrooms. So she's a lot taller than Chloe, so she's ahead of her. I'm just picturing her just like marching.
Power strides.
So the way this is set up, there's this, they're in like this enclosed room at the venue and the restrooms are on the other side of a set of glass doors.
Sure.
Very clean glass doors.
Uh-huh.
Imagine where this is going.
Someone's walking straight into that glass door.
Yes, and this is where I wish I could insert a sound effect, but instead you're going to have to listen to me go, Wang!
Oh no, poor Wanda.
Because Wanda marches straight into the glass door.
Of course,
like,
she's so
full
drunk.
stride with her, I would say with her full chest, but it's more like with her full head. She just went right into the door.
Oh no. Oh, Wanda.
And at first she's in shock, but like, because there's her slow to react because she's hammered, in shock because you were moving and now you're not. And then there's the pain element. There's all of it. So that happens really, really quickly. And then it turns to embarrassment because even through the music, she's pretty sure everyone could hear that sound. The way it resonated from what I heard, it just rang through the whole thing.
Oh no.
So Chloe is like, oh my God, Wanda, are you okay? Wanda turns around and there's already a bump forming on her forehead.
Oh no.
Instantaneous lump. And she's like, excuse me. She goes,
sorry, I laughed so hard my AirPod fell out.
I'm
sorry,
like trying
Wanda.
not to cough over here because I'm laughing too. I'm just picturing this. Because the truth of it is, I'm hearing this story, like Chloe's telling me this story, and I'm like, this would be me. I would 1000% be the person that would like walk right into the door, and I don't need to be hammered to do it.
At least the door didn't shatter and break. That would have been.
Oh my God, that'd be bad.
I don't know if that really happens or if that only happens in movies, but at least the door stays strong.
I don't know. I remember I had a CEO at this one place that I used to work that had a lot of glass doors, and he walked right into the door and he just broke his nose. The door was fine.
I feel like glass doors are usually pretty strong.
Yeah, thankfully.
Oh,
they're deceptive, though.
Thankfully
they're strong. So only Wanda's forehead's gone.
This is a total tangent, but maybe it's relatable to our audience. There's a show on, I want to say it's on Netflix, starring Kate Hudson as she takes over an LA basketball team. Do you know what show I'm talking about?
I've heard of this.
I can't remember what it's called.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it.
There's a running gag where she runs into glass walls. Like she runs into the same glass door like every time she tries to go through it. And it's very funny. But it never breaks. I feel like that only happens in movies.
Yeah, I don't know, like the breaking of the door, or if it's like with something that's more force than your stride.
Yeah, more force than a human body.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway,
like
poor Wanda now she's got like a goose egg forming on her forehead now.
Yeah. So Chloe's like, "Are you okay?" And Wanda's just like, "I think so. Did anyone see that?" And like Chloe's kind of like, "No, I don't think they did."
The entire dance floor stopped like a record scratch. They're all like,
"I wish." Oh my God, I wish. Could you imagine just like everybody just like, oh my God, like look at you.
I imagine the DJ stopped playing the music and everyone just turned in unison.
Everyone just turns and looks at Wanda.
Yes.
And so like Chloe's like, Chloe's kind of going into, all right, let's problem solve mode. Now remember, they're used to working out at a nursing school out of a hospital. So like they're all pretty good at like first aid or at least like relatively adept.
They've watched a lot of medical dramas. They watch.
Yeah, they're probably all big fans of The Pit now. Yeah. I mean, or ER. Like, who knows?
They can diagnose her goose egg, give her an ice pack.
Yeah. Hope it's not a concussion. One of those things.
They're like, follow my finger.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chloe goes, I'm gonna get Jennifer. Jennifer's their boss, the VP of Finance, and Wanda's BFF. Great. So great person to get, the best friend and the boss all in one.
Right.
So Wanda heads towards the bathroom to kind of like just, scoot away. Chloe goes to the dance floor. She finds Jennifer and she drags her to the bathroom. And Jennifer's probably like, I don't know this part, but I could see Jennifer like, don't kill my vibe. Like, what's going on?
Let's go. Wanda, what did you do now?
Yes. So Chloe quickly fills her in on what happened. And as soon as Jennifer sees Wanda, she goes, whoa, what'd you do to yourself? Which is never great.
Not a good look.
Yeah. Like, usually I would think that if maybe she wasn't as hammered, she would have, like, controlled herself a little bit and been like, hello, Wanda. How are you feeling?
Are you okay?
Yeah. She
but
was
also,
in, like,
if she's her
mode.
best friend, I would say if she's her best friend, like, she's not going to hold back.
Exactly. She's in friend mode. She's not in boss mode. She's not in drama mode. So Wanda's like, I walked into that stupid glass door. And Chloe goes, yeah, like, you didn't even see it coming. She's like, I didn't see it coming. And Jennifer's like, this might be bad. Like, instantly gets serious. She goes, this might be bad. And Wanda goes, do you think I have a concussion or something? Like, am I bleeding? Like, she's like, what do you mean? And Jennifer's like, no, it's just definitely swelling up and you'll probably have a bruise tomorrow. Someone comes in with an ice pack. So now, like, Wanda's to picture her just sitting there with this goose egg, just like holding peas on her face or something. And she goes, oh, I can't believe I'm going to have to go to work looking like this for like the farewell days when everyone's going to be taking all the pictures. Like, this is how everyone's going to remember you. And you have this giant bruise on your face. And so Jennifer still kind of seems a little distracted. Like, she's not quite, she's like, her mind is at somewhere else. And she goes, yeah, are you meeting with the HR woman this week at all? So she's asking about whether or not she's meeting with HR. Why might you think that she might be doing that? Where do you think Jennifer's going with this?
I think Jennifer is concerned that this could be some sort of legal action, workers' comp, something where like HR is going to be worried that Wanda's going to come after the company for having a party at a place where there's a glass wall. I don't know. This is not the company's fault. But if this accident happened on company time, Jennifer is maybe worried that this is going to like become a thing.
You nailed it. She's worried it's going to become a thing, and it's worse than that.
Uh-oh.
So Wanda's like, I think I'm meeting with her Friday to go over my severance info. Why? And Jennifer's like, well, if she asks how you got this bruise, you don't have to say that it happened here. Which is like, is this boss Jennifer? Is this friend Jennifer?
Yeah.
But Wanda's like, what do you mean? So Jennifer goes, I might have messed something up with the budget with everything that's going on. I've just been like really overwhelmed and, I might have messed something up. So now Chloe, our sober Chloe, goes, Jennifer, what's going on? And Jennifer goes, there might be a slight insurance issue. So the VP of Finance says there might be a slight insurance issue. She's worried about HR seeing an obviously injured employee. Does she ask Wanda to lie to HR if they ask how she got the giant bump and bruise on her head? Like, what do you think?
Oh, I assume she is asking. I assume she's asking Wanda to lie as her best friend, as her boss, which all sorts of wrong here. But yeah, I mean, they're all on the way out, and she's like, I screwed up our insurance for this event, so HR can't know that you got injured at the event. Like, don't mess this up for me. Like, I hope you're okay. Like, I 100% think she's asking Wanda to lie for her to cover her ass because she didn't get the proper insurance for her event. And like, what do they have to lose? This is like their last week of work, right?
Yep, exactly. And like, she actually did get the right, so she actually did get the right insurance for the event, but their workers' comp insurance lapsed. So funds were tight. Jennifer figured that since the school was closing anyway, it wouldn't be an issue.
What kind of injuries are people going to have?
Yep, exactly. And there was a liability waiver. Yeah.
But Rebecca,
yes,
I feel like workers' comp insurance would be one of the most important insurances to have when you have people working in like even adjacent to medical practices.
Yes,
like,
I would think it's the most important insurance you have when you have people working, no matter where they're working.
True, but I will say, like, workers' comp, when you have an office full of people who are just sitting at desks, like tech startups. I've worked at so many tech startups that like we have workers' comp insurance as like, is this for
all the glass doors?
I guess, or like for when someone develops an RSI from typing too much, or like something like the likelihood that you're going to have to use worker comp in most like knowledge worker company environments is pretty low. But workers comp is super important in industries that are like manufacturing and retail and food service and medical, like, and even if they're like the school part of it and they're all administrative or something, like, I don't know, you have proximity to a medical environment, get that workers comp.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And like when I was, so I had to actually kind of dig deep to kind of remind myself of how this works, because I'm like, my HR hat when it came to workers' comp, I'm just like, let me make sure that I'm thinking about this the right way. So there was liability insurance, like there was a liability waiver in the event contract. So all attendees assumed personal liability for injuries, like pretty standard.
Okay.
But you can still file workers' comp if you were injured at a work event. So even with the liability cause, the employee still has the right to file workers' comp.
Interesting. I wonder how that would
about to be out of a job,
battled out in court, because like the liability waiver doesn't override your workers' comp policy. That's interesting.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And Wanda's also about to be out of a job, so she'll need money.
True.
And
story.
she also has a giant shiner on her forehead, so interviewing probably isn't going so well. So it's like there's so many things here that could just like not go great. Like this is what we love to call in HR risk. When you don't renew your workers' comp just because your school, like your building or your company's closing, like this opens you up to risk. This is an example of risk.
And it's so interesting to me in this case, because it would never occur to me, if I was Wanda, it would never occur to me that this accident would be something I could file workers' comp for, because I'm at a party, even though it's a work sponsored party, I'm at a party. I didn't get injured by a coworker. I didn't get injured like on the premises of my workspace. Like I walked into a wall. How is that workers' comp? Like workers' comp, I always feel like it's something that's like the company's fault or the company should have prevented it, even though I know that's not the legal definition of workers' comp. Like that's how I think most people socially understand workers' comp insurance to function. So like it would not occur to me, but I bet there's always going to be someone, like some cousin who's a lawyer or some friend who's like, oh, you know, you need money, you should file a workers' comp claim because you technically got injured at work, and like, you know, convince her to file it. So I am actually really curious how that would play out in court with the liability and stuff. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm all worked up about this.
No, I know. It's like there's a few head scratcher pieces of it here because like, you know, Wanda might not be the one thinking about it. Jennifer's wheels are turning just because like now she's in boss mode or work mode. And you know, her HR person reminded her like 10 times to make sure she signed off and paid the bill and did all that stuff. And like, she consciously didn't. And there's also like, I'll say that, you know, desperate people do desperate things. So Wanda might not be thinking of it in the moment, but she doesn't have to file it in the moment. It could be like, I don't remember what the statute of limitations are, but like if something, you know, if she realizes a week later that she should file because she did get injured at a work sanctioned event
and she has medical bills, or like what if it's worse than just a little bump and she has medical bills that she has to pay, and if you get injured and you go to the doctor, they ask you if this is workers' comp related. So
exactly. And like HR could also ask, not that HR will want to walk into that, but they could, you know, it could still come up and it could just be something that the HR person mentions or asks about. And Wanda might be like, wait, really? What? Yeah. So it's kind of one of those, like, it's a huge raw wound of risk here. Yes.
I feel like risk is the name of this episode.
Yes. Yeah.
This is what we call it.
And I looked it up. So I asked ChatGPT about workers' comp because I was curious, like, what would happen if this just happened hypothetically. So if your workers' comp insurance lapses, the first thing you want to do is try to renew it. So you may, depending on how long it's been lapsed, you might be able to renew, or you might have to open up a whole new policy and pay like bigger premiums. So the first rule of thumb, don't let it lapse.
Ever. Don't ever let your insurance lap in general. Like you don't want that stuff to lapse.
Yeah, no, it's never like, it might seem like, yes, it's expensive, but it's like, you'll never have an issue if you have it.
Right. It's so much harder to get reinsured. Like, it's way easier to have insurance, to get insurance when you have insurance than if you are if you are uninsured. Absolutely. As a company, as an individual. Yes.
Yeah. And you would have to, so Jennifer would have to disclose that this happened. If she were going to renew it, either renew or just get a whole new round of insurance.
Which is also complicated because the company's not going to exist anymore. Like they're going to be like, you don't want to take out a whole new workers' comp policy for a company that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. And I don't think you can do like a month-to-month thing. I don't think it's like a lease. No. But then I wonder if it could like transfer. So this is where I could like really kind of get nerdy about it. It only went so far in ChatGPT, but I wonder if it would be covered by the hospital. This was my question. If they're affiliated with the hospital.
Workers' comp nerds out there, tell us what we don't know. Please reach out.
That's what we don't know.
HRconfessions@skillcycle.com. Please tell us what would happen in real life.
Yeah. Like, because they were not their own school. They were affiliated with the hospital, but they were still their own business, I guess. So yeah, I'm super curious about this. But do you want to know what actually ended up happening?
Yes.
Absolutely nothing.
That's right. Because here's the other thing, Rebecca, is we, HR people, project ahead to the worst possible scenario so that we can plan ahead for all these different things and make sure that we have all our I's dotted and our T's crossed. But most of the time, like, nothing even happens. And we're like, cool, well, I just learned a lot.
Yeah.
For no
I just
reason.
got like, this is where our anxiety comes from. This is why we're anxious. Our job is to worry about things that are not happening and also worry about things that are, but it's mostly the things that aren't or the things that could.
Because we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared if Wanda comes in and the Wednesday after her last day of work, she's like, hey, by the way, my doctor said this is going to be a $10,000 medical bill and I want to file a workers' comp claim. HR has to be prepared to know what to do.
Yep.
You can't start your research at that point. You don't want to be, you don't want to start your research from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the whole, like, is Jennifer going to be the one resurging this? Because does she want to tell HR what's going on? Or is it going to be another thing that gets thrown at HR to deal with? Like,
so, and it's always, oh God, when Jennifer tells you like, okay, well, I'm just not going to do anything about this.
Yep.
If it's you, do you, Rebecca, be like, okay, cool, not going to worry about it then?
No. Oh, no, I worry.
Right?
I worry
and you're like, okay, so you're just going to not do anything about it, and this will just live in my pile of worries forever.
Mm-hmm. I would very much worry about it, and I would probably start to research my options. I would also try to understand like what policies could be covered by the hospital.
Yeah.
Or like where the separation is, if I don't already know that. Maybe if I'm in HR, I already know that, but like just me as me, I don't know.
So when are you able to just let it go and be like, okay, I guess that's not going to be an issue?
Yeah, because you're not going to be there anymore either. You're going to be at work too.
Right.
So
what's the statute of limitations on responsibility for things like this?
Yeah, and can you be held personally accountable? I wouldn't think so. Usually it's just like, you know, it's like just part of your role, part of your job.
Right. You get called in to testify 6 years later.
Yeah, it's like, I don't remember what happened.
I was drunk at that party too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
Well, that was the thing. The HR person was not there. The HR person was not at the party. They were not invited to the party.
Yep. Oh, they weren't invited.
Well, actually, I don't know if they weren't invited, or they could have opted out, but they were not there. That much I know.
Yeah. Okay.
And the big thing is that Wanda wasn't going to throw her bestie under the bus for a few bucks. Like, she was like, no. They've been working together for basically their whole lives. She turned out to be totally fine. Like, no stitches, no concussion, so she didn't think it'd be worth it.
Yeah. Which is reasonable.
I just hope that, I just hope she was able to land a new job after all that.
I mean, that's reasonable.
As they say, when one door closes, you can just walk right into it.
Oh,
Chloe actually wrote that one. That's a
good job,
quote.
Chloe.
She apparently actually said it to Wanda, and I think that is hysterical.
Chloe, you legend. Chloe is a legend.
Chloe is a legend. So what are your final thoughts, other than us spiraling about insurance and workers' comp, which is so fun, super fun. Would love to hear from people what you think.
You know, you and I, Rebecca, talk a lot about how we hope that one of the things this podcast will do is give people a little peek into what goes on inside the minds of HR, what our everydays look like, and especially for people who don't work in HR, right? We hope that for our fellow HR nerds out there, this provides laughter and joy and, I don't know, schadenfreude and amusement.
All of it.
But for folks who are listening who are not in HR, you know, we want this to be an opportunity to see the kinds of stuff that your friendly HR neighbors are dealing with. And I think we unintentionally demonstrated that with our spiraling diversion into the mechanics of workers' comp. Yep. These are the kinds of things that are sitting in our hearts and our minds when, you know, something small or seemingly small, like an employee walked into a glass door at a company goodbye party. That has there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that HR folks are thinking about to protect the individual, to protect the company, to have that balance, you know, in play the way it should be. It's really
protect themselves and their own sanity of just like, okay, what can I get ahead of when this inevitably ends up on my desk?
Like my adrenaline is still pumping from thinking about the implications of a potential lawsuit or a potential workers' comp claim and the timing of it with this being their last week of work and like all of that. Like, I'm still like, my blood is pumping thinking about that. And, you know, as with this is the case in many occasions in these scenarios where like nothing actually happens, nothing actually comes of it. And it's a good lesson in like what you can control and what you can't control and what to freak out about and what not to freak out about, and the balance of like risk management versus anxiety. I just kept thinking about the little anxiety character from Inside Out and like, I'm planning for all these things to protect you from the future. It's like, but in a lot of these cases, like, you don't need to go that far and that deep. And so it is a good lesson here for HR folks, but also for all humans, in like not letting the anxiety spiral take over and cause, this like adrenaline spike in you when you don't know that you're going to need to pull all those triggers. Yeah. You don't know that you're going to have to, like, I'm like, probably didn't, I mean, we as hosts, yes, of course, but if we were the HR person, or if we were the Jennifers and the Wandas, like, don't need to go quite as far as my instinct was telling me to go in this. Like, if you're a curious person in HR, I'm sorry, because it's hard to be you. I know, because I am you. And you're like, oh, let me learn about all of the details of how this could go wrong so that I can be prepared.
Me too. You should see my ChatGPT thread just in research for this particular story. And I had to stop because I was like, this isn't my job. I can't spend all day doing this as much as I want to.
Right.
It's like Indiana Jones or like the Da Vinci Code. I feel like I'm like getting somewhere.
This is where my background in theater and dramaturgy and my background in HR really overlap to my detriment sometimes, because I'm like, I will go down a rabbit hole if I need to learn something. It's great for learning on the job. It's great for doing things that you've never done before. Yeah. It can be really hard for things that are causing you to really have to walk that line between actual risk management and preparation versus anxiety spiral.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's also it's funny because there's always the question, there's always people saying things like HR is not your friend, and, HR is not this. And it's like, sometimes it just comes from like, no job function is your friend. Finance isn't your friend. Right. Sales isn't your friend. Like, that's not how that works. But I'll just put that argument in the corner for a second, because the thing is that we see a lot of good in people in HR, but we also see a lot of like just stupidity, but also a lot of malice, like, especially in situations, where, I don't know, just especially in situations where people are under pressure, like people aren't always their best. And we tend to see people on, if not their worst day, we have potential to see people on at least like a very bad day. And so
absolutely, there
is sort of an element of when something does happen, sometimes we will come at it with like not a defensiveness, but a guardedness, because we're just like, okay, I need to see how this person's reacting to this thing, because if they're like cool and fine, then it's different. But if they're going to, if their demeanor is going to be anything other than that, then I need to be ready to handle it, because that's also my job.
You don't want to be the person who assumes everything is going to be cool and fine because the person is cool and fine. And then, this has happened to me before, where I assumed everything was going to be fine because the person was like, yeah, no big deal. And then a couple days later, they come back and they're like, actually, big deal. And I need to bring this up. And sometimes when I've dealt with that, they've been totally in the right to bring it up. And sometimes they haven't. And I'm like, God, like, who was in your ear telling you to make a big deal out of this thing that now is like, this feels malicious. So like, you are not in the right. I've seen it from multiple lenses in my career. And it's really tough in HR when you want to believe the best about people. You want to see the best in people, and you want to support the folks on your team. And I think a lot of us get into HR because we want to help people. And you also have to learn how to protect yourself and protect the company and protect employees from themselves. When, like you said, when people are under pressure and they're not acting as their best selves, they're not even always acting in their own best interests when they pursue things that they think are in their own best interests. Right. It's a really tough line to walk. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's part of what, we always talk about on this show, or this podcast. Is it a show? Is it a podcast?
It's a show.
It's a show. On this show, we always talk about how HR can be a really lonely job. And that's another reason why. I mean, even look at, in this story, we don't even have an HR person who was present for the story. And it was a farewell party. And it was something that, involves HR, because if it involves people at the company,
it could have landed on HR's lap.
Yes. Yeah. And, I think that's the thing, that it can be just so lonely because you just don't know. I don't know. You just don't know how people are going to react to things. And they're not your friend. Like, HR is not your friend, but you're also not HR's friend. Right. And, I think that's kind of what makes the nuances so interesting, and where it makes it complicated when you are in a situation like Wanda and Jennifer, where your boss was also your friend, and you've kind of grown up together. That's, so it's like that in this case actually ended up helping the company, because, not only was Wanda okay, thankfully, like didn't need anything more, but that also ended up helping the company that, is closed down now.
They didn't have to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
Because like, what if she hadn't been okay? It would have been a totally different situation if she hadn't been okay. If she had gotten a concussion, if she needed stitches, if she had gone to the doctor and they were like, now you have a blood clot in your brain because you hit yourself so hard. Like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Or what if it was anybody else other than Wanda? What if
True. What if it was litigious Lucy?
Yeah, like what if it was like litigious Lucy,
who was like, yes, now I'm gonna get to file a workers' comp claim against this damn company that, what if it was somebody who was like mad that the whole thing was going down and they were like looking for ways to stick it to the company. Like,
I know so many people who've done that. Yeah. Like not people that like not our friends, but I know of people who've done that. Like just people, it's like you've got like the neighbors growing up or, whatever. That's just like, oh, they're always wearing a different back brace. And it's just like that's your litigious Lucy. You just never know.
You don't know.
You never
know.
You
have to be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so awful. Like, try to see the best in people and also be prepared for people to be their worst.
I know. And that's like, risk, I do baby. Like, yeah, I mean, and I think that like what's nice is that in the moment you usually do see the better side of people because like they're trying to most of the time, sometimes they're trying to help. It's only when they really think about it. Like they're like, actually, was this,
actually, I do want to sue you for having a party at a place with glass walls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I do want to sue you for having an open bar and a dance floor.
And then people would complain if they didn't. It's just like, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
It's a win, lose, lose, lose. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, just the wonderful nuances of where all of our anxiety comes from not all of our anxiety, but where a lot of our anxiety comes from as HR people. Yeah.
Thank you for this delightful story. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this one for days.
Yeah. And that's our story about Chloe. I think I love Chloe's when one door closes, you walk right into it.
I love it.
I hope they're all, in new jobs by now. I'm not sure when this story actually happened. I just know that it was the recent past. So maybe they're all okay.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it for today's episode of HR Confessions. We've got some cool stuff actually coming up for you this season. We're going to be having some guest co-hosts.
Yeah.
We've got all kinds of new stories coming up. We may have stories just like this one that aren't necessarily from an HR person, but obviously involve something that touches HR because so many employees experience work. I know. It's like everything is ours. It's like the Lion King. Everything the light touches is ours.
I had a friend recently reach out to me. I'll keep him anonymous, but a non-HR friend who reached out after listening to a few episodes and was like, I did not realize all of this lands on HR's desk. Like, I did not realize the wide scope of things that you all deal with.
Yes.
And he was like, it was funny. And also, I'm sorry. It's like, thank you, friend. Thank you, friend, for seeing us. But that's something I like about these stories, especially when they're not from HR, is they're all HR stories.
Yeah. Yeah. If it involves your experience at work, it's an HR story.
That's right.
Because someone curated that experience.
That's right. Or someone has to deal with your experience.
Or someone has experienced something they don't need to with you.
Yes.
But thank you for listening. Welcome to season 2. If you want to submit your own confession, there's a link in the show notes. And we love to hear any other thoughts or inputs from our listeners, especially any of those like workman's comp experts or anyone who wants to join a spiral with us. We'll be happy to see you in the comments. And please follow us on social media, or you can email us at hrconfessions@skillcycle.com if you want to submit your story. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.